let's get a baseline of what we mean by big data. I'm one of those technology people that doesn't do acronyms. So if I do, you can shout and cry foul, and I'll explain it. But for me, big data starts at a point where we all have to, as the IT industry, we all have to start instrumenting the world. And I'll explain. It kind of makes perfect sense. So do you guys wear one of these little things that measures your paces and stuff? So you're sending telemetry to something, right? You're sending this information to something. Do you all have a mobile phone, little shifting mobile phone with maps and stuff on it? So that's, again, sending telemetry. So there's been a shift in the last 5 years where the end user, you and me, have become so empowered that we have a demand for companies to give us much more service. These companies, in return, have to start instrumenting the world in order to give us the service, right? So whereas before we were more than happy to have our heating just heat our house, and now our heating talks to some central service and says, you know, this is the curve of use across time for Fernando and his family, and this and that and the other. And it correlates that over time with some other parameters and says, you know, here's a new plan for you that's going to make you, you know, save 20 pounds a month or something. But for that company has to go and instrument the world. So can I just walk to my water? Oh, thank you. There is your water. So they have to instrument the world. So in all this change, we find ourselves in the world of big data, where all these things suddenly start making sense, as you see. You know, the amount of social interaction we have. So we now have a voice. Is that a fair thing to say, that we all have a voice now, whereas before we may have had a voice, but it was less obvious how we would get our voice out there. Now it's very obvious. We've got all this idea with the status updates, the messages, the Google searches, all that stuff always pushes this idea of instrumentation. So in comes big data. As the idea that we've run out of technologies that can deal with this in a way that companies and individuals can turn this stuff, information around and do something useful with it. So everything you hear around big data is around trying to make sense of that, trying to do something useful with it, trying to find technologies that achieve that. In all of this, you can start seeing, and I'll tell you what we do for a living in a second, you start seeing how the sense of privacy, and by the way, I'm Spanish, but I'm a bit Germanic like that. I'm really cautious of my privacy. I'm really, really cautious. But at the same time, I'm a technologist. I try stuff. I log on to things. I subscribe to things. I'm going to use the word opt-in very carefully in a room full of people that understand privacy. I opt into things. I rarely opt out of things and things like that. So I'm an exponent, as much as probably many of you, of the world around me. And I'd like to understand, both as the CTO of a large company and as well as a private individual, what that means to everybody. And all of these things, you know, the 2020 picture worries me less. The today worries me more. So how do we, as HP, a $140 billion company, create new products, create new services, and at the same time protect our customers, our consumers? So, it's a big screen. I'm craning my neck. Let me just build. I hate these builds. Some of the things that we worry about, just so you get a feel of the kind of things that Autonomy worries about. Down the road, by the way, in the Cambridge Business Park, so I just drove here. It only took me 45 minutes to do 8 miles. We worry about the world of IT. We worry about how they deal with their lives, how they work. We worry about the world of backing up. We worry about the world of compliance. We worry about the world of marketing. And we worry about the world of analytics.